there! Today I am here to share what I made in February, or at least mostly in February. I did finish this one technically in March, but I am really excited to share. My month went a little bit differently than I expected, and so I did end up making 6 things, which is how many things I had on my February plans list. But they changed around a little bit. I didn't make everything on that list, but I am really excited about the things that I did make. I also got to some unexpected mending projects. So yeah, the month just overall was different than I expected. I thought that I was going to be like between work projects. I am a freelancer, so that's pretty normal. But I ended up having a couple unexpected gigs, which was great. There were also some fun family things. So again, all of that really good. It did mean though that I didn't sew for like the whole first half of the month. And February is a pretty short month. So I was like, whoop, that's all gone. And yeah, I kind of like maybe crammed everything in at the last, maybe the last second, which is not quite where I want to be going. I want to be kind of like spacing out my time and how I spend it a little bit more intentionally this year, but yeah, it's just kind of how it went. So again, I'm really excited to share what I made, so let's get into it. So I will start with what I am wearing. So this was not in my plans list, but the idea hit me and I had to do it right then. I happened to already have like green on my overlocker, so I was like, I'm gonna do it right now. So this is a hack of the Chalk and Notch Wren blouse. So the body and the sleeves are from the Wren, and I used the long sleeve version, but I just hemmed it with some elastic instead of connecting to where like the lantern piece and the cuff go. So it's obviously shorter. I really like the amount of volume. The other version that comes with the Wren is like a serious, like mega puff sleeve for the short sleeve version. And I like that this one like still has some volume, but it's pretty like streamlined through the shoulders. So I like that a lot. And it's also just like a much simpler sew if you just tack on some elastic and turn up the hem here rather than doing like the full like cuff. And I think it's a bias bound one with buttonholes and all of that. So this made it super, super easy. And then the other thing I did was I borrowed the neckline from my other favorite top pattern, which is the Pattern Scout Hana tank. So yeah, I just basically like lined up the arm side, sort of, drew in that V-neck and then trued out the shoulder. So it ended up being really simple and I really, really like it. I love a V-neck, and yeah, I definitely see myself making a whole bunch more of these. So I'm really, really pleased with this make, and it does cross off one of my make 9s, which was to do a blouse. And the Wren blouse was actually like one that I had on there. So this is a fun little hack of that. So the next thing I have to share, I have some very like complicated feelings about. So this is the Closet Core NYX bodice paired with the Seamwork Meg skirt. So I won't go too much into like the making process because that will be on the blog when by the time this video comes out. So I will link that below. This fabric was from Minerva, so they gave it to me. I write a post for their site about working with the fabric and stuff, which that was fine. But my feelings about this dress, yeah, like I said, are very complicated. So for the most part, I have a pretty chill relationship with my body, and I work pretty hard to maintain body neutrality, especially like given that I also have a chronic illness. Yeah, it's like a constant work in progress, but for the most part, like I feel pretty good about how I like look in my skin. Like that's a choice that I make. But every once in a while, there comes a garment or a silhouette that just like kind of triggers something, and that is this dress. So when I'm wearing this, I'm like, I've been super, super self-conscious and really like don't like how I feel in it. And then I see pictures and I'm like, no, it's fine. Like if I saw this on anybody else, I would think that they look great. But basically the way that the waist of this dress is, it does sit on my natural waist, but there is a lot of like blousiness around here. So like between like my bust point and the waist, which makes me feel like I am like all bust. And that's simply not true. And if it was true, that would be fine. But it does take me back to when I was like a teenager and even a kid, because I developed very, very early in the chest region, and it took like until I was like 18 for the rest of my body to kind of catch up. And so, yeah, I have a lot of very deep insecurities, like not just from myself, but like from other people, and the way that I was treated for having the body that I did. And so yeah, when I put on this dress, like all of that came just like rushing back, and did not feel great. So the temptation is just like, get rid of it. I don't need this in my life. Which I may still do. It's a very cute dress, and for the most part, like I did mess up the neckline a little bit. It's not my best binding, which is a beef I have with the pattern, but it's well made. It's a beautiful color. I love these buttons. And if it like needs to find a new home, that's fine. But I'm going to try to sit with it for a little bit and see if I can kind of, I don't know, like retrain that part of my brain, to understand that like that's not the situation I'm in, and that I don't need to listen to what anyone else has to say about my body, because I do think I look great, and to be more present in the moment with the body that I have, rather than feeling like really worried about something that isn't a problem, because my body's not a problem. So we'll see if I have the energy to do that work, or if the best choice for me is just to pass it along and let it make somebody else happier. So next I have a fabric that was on my February plans, but I ended up changing the pattern at the last minute. So I fell in love with the Brigit Tee from Pattern Scout, like basically as soon as it was released. And then after watching the sew along that Casey put here on YouTube, I was like, purchase. Yeah, not that I need more sewing patterns, but I don't have a square neck knit tee, and definitely not one that has bust cups and a lining. So I was really excited to try this out, both for like the new silhouette, but also the construction methods were all new to me, and I really, really loved sewing it. It was a really, really fun sew and really great to like put together. I love how the like strap is attached to the back, and then you sandwich it here between the lining and the front piece. So I always really like sewing yokes and that kind of thing. I think they're really, really fun. The fit on here is not quite dialed in, so I could think of this as kind of a wearable toile, and that's what I wasn't sure about, if I wanted to like use my happy fabric for something that I hadn't made before. But in the end, I'm glad that I did, and I know what I'll do differently. So this one comes with bust cup options, which is really great. And I didn't have to do a full bust adjustment. I did my standard like sloping shoulder that I always do on knits, but it wasn't quite enough. I think I also need a hollow chest adjustment to just shorten this whole area here, not just in the bodice, but also in the sleeve, because I had quite a bit of bunching despite doing the sloping shoulder adjustment. So there's that, which I can do next time, but I really like how the square neck kind of brings it from, yeah, just like a t-shirt, which it feels like a t-shirt, like it's very comfy, especially in this fabric, but it's like, yeah, it's not quite like blouse level, but yeah, it's a bit more elevated. So I really, really like this one. So the plan was to do this t-shirt in this kind of terracotta color to go with this skirt. Now this is a refashion. So this used to be a dress, but I really love the fox print. I made the dress back in 2019 and there were like so many problems. Some of it my fault, some of it looking back I'm like, no, that was definitely like the pattern. That's a pattern issue. But I didn't know that at the time. So I couldn't let go of this like foxy fabric. I think it is really cute. I like that it is a little bit quirky, but then from like far away, they're just kind of neutral colors. It looks more like, you know, an abstract dot or something. So I really like that versatility. And so I cut off the bodice and I used the few remaining strips that I had to kind of piece together this really long waist tie. So that was fine. But I had really thought like, oh, it's a wrap. Like I can just like cinch it to whatever my waist is going to be and that'll be fine. It was not. So it was more complicated than I thought it was going to be. I ended up taking like a huge, I think 12 centimeters like out of the back seam. Oh, I created a back seam basically so that the side seams would actually sit at the side. And what that means now is that the crossover does not offer a lot of coverage for everything to sit the way that it's supposed to. So again, I think that is kind of a pattern thing because it was designed as a wrap dress. So to get that side seam hitting where it should, it means that this piece right here is very short. So I think that's a bit odd. It's not something to wear on a windy day, or at least like not without shorts, or I've got some tights that have like shorts built in. So that's what I've been wearing with this. But I'm really happy with it and I think it is super cute. I think the shape is really great on me. So I think I'm going to try the Isla skirt from Jennifer Lauren. It has a really similar shape, but I am excited to use a real pattern rather than kind of trying to DIY and hope for the best. But I did use this cute Kylie in the Machine label that says upcycled and outstanding. So I usually pick labels like based on if the color matches the garment, not usually like what they have to say about it. But this one was like a perfect match color-wise and because it was an upcycle. So this is a huge win and I am really happy with this whole little outfit. So on my February plans was to use that cider terracotta jersey to make the Helen's Closet Dawson top. Now, obviously I didn't do that, but I did still make not one Dawson, but two Dawson tops, both in this green. It is the same fabric. It's the bamboo cotton jersey. Now, this one I actually refashioned from a dress that I made back in October. I made the seamwork Luxie, which is a really, really cute pattern, but I definitely would need some major adjustments. I learned it has that square neckline, which I really like, but it was really, really like low cut on me. Like it sat like barely like above apex. It was really, really low. So like I would need to build that up quite a bit as well as like work out the waist. I think I need to grade down significantly. It was a whole mess. It was a whole mess. So I took it apart and I used the little leftover bits that I had to fashion this t-shirt. So I'm really grateful that I was able to get a little bit out of that failed make. So the sleeves I took from one of the like skirt panels, or two of the skirt panels, I guess. So it does kind of feel like I cut up a whole dress just to get some sleeves, but I was never gonna wear that dress, and it was like the fabric was too heavy for the cut, so like it wasn't like I could give it away or anything. It just like wasn't a great situation. So did it create waste? Yes. But was it waste in the first place? Like, I kind of think so. Like, it just wasn't a good make. And this t-shirt is definitely a good make that I am going to wear all the time. I love how this t-shirt fits me. So I did take a little bit out of the shoulder, doing my like standard sloping shoulder adjustment. And I think I could take more in the future, but I am still really happy with the fit of this one. I love how it's close fitting, but it just kind of like skims over everything. It's not like tight, but it's great for like tucking in to anything high-waisted. It makes a great layering piece. So I'm super happy with this one. I put in the pedal to the metal label, which I think the yellow and black look really cute with the green, because as I said, I usually like, if I put a label in something, I'm usually matching like color more than anything else. But yeah, I'm really happy with this one. I know I will wear it probably like all through the year, even though it's a dark color. I really, really love this green. So this is a major win. Then the next one, so I made this one because I wanted to try that mock neck before I cut into the terracotta color. And I'm really glad I did, because learning moment, I don't really love me in turtlenecks, mock necks, that kind of thing at the moment. I think it's my hair. I'm really missing my long hair and kind of regretting the chop, but you know, it's just hair. It'll grow back. And for now, I'll just not wear turtlenecks that much. I will wear this one around the house. Again, it's super comfy. I really love the fabric and how it like feels on. So I'll like layer it up just to keep warm. It's a really great layering piece. And yeah, so lesson learned. Turtlenecks are not for me at this time, but I have this one that fits really great. And when my hair gets a bit longer or a bit shorter, if I go that direction, you know, I'll have this one to try it on and see. So I've been making sure to add pieces from my Doom box into my sewing plans each month. So that's the box that like has everything that needs mending, refashioning, altering, that kind of thing. So I did that with the foxy skirt that I made, but then I ended up like reaching back into that box to do a bit more. And I was telling myself like, you have black on your overlocker and in your machine, like just go find a couple of things that need black thread. And so I ended up pulling out these two things and yeah, giving them a little refresh. So this is a bra. I didn't make it. I've never made a bra. It's something that's half on my list. I want to try it, but I'm also really intimidated and like I said, have complex feelings about my bust. So I don't know if bra making is going to be like, maybe it will be super liberating or maybe it'll be really frustrating. So for now, I'm not making bras, but I did mend this one. So this is one that like I haven't worn in literal years because one of the rings on it broke while I was wearing it, of course. Like I was out in public when I just heard this like snap and it was a whole situation. So yeah, all it needed was just like a new ring. So I unpicked this part and replaced the slider as well. It probably took me like, it took like 30 minutes because unpicking it must have been like a one millimeter stitch. It was really intense. So I only replaced the one side. So I have black and I have silver on the other side, but I don't care. And I'm really excited because it's a very cute bra. I don't have like cute bras. I have very functional bras. Most of them are like flesh colored and yeah, pretty boring. They're just there to do their job. But this one is actually very cute, and it's the only one that has black straps. So that's going to be really handy like in the summer. Get to wear some like more strappier things. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with the 30 minutes that I spent on this bra. So this one is an alteration of a past refashion. So this started out as a dress and then became a skirt, and then the elastic in the skirt like stretched out a lot and it was not sitting where I needed it to. So I just went in and tightened up that elastic, and then I also top stitched over it because it was very like flippy aroundy in the casing, which drives me nuts. So I top stitched that down, and I also gave it a new hem. It was a little bit on the long side. It was hitting me like just under the knee, but not like midi length. So I wasn't super happy with that. So I shortened it so it's now sitting just above the knee, and I think I'm gonna get a little bit more wear out of this skirt. So from my February plans, I made 3 out of the 6 that I initially set out to make, plus a few extras. So I'm really happy about that, but I thought I would still share like what I didn't make and why. So I was going to do a dress out of this fabric and then a loungewear set from this one. And I didn't do either because of the way my body is changing right now. So I started a medication in December that is making my life so much better. I'm really, really happy with it. However, it is causing a major size change. And for many people, they lose a lot of weight and then gain it back at some point. So I'm a little bit concerned with, on one hand, like I need new clothes because nothing in my closet fits me the way that I want it to. And on the other hand, I don't know how long I'm going to be the size that I am. So I'm kind of in like a flux point. So this fabric, I just like it too much, basically. And I don't want to use it right now if it's not going to fit me in 6 months. And I don't want to try to like predict what size I'm going to be there. So it was a bit of a sad decision because I had been so excited about it for a long time, and for, you know, whole list of reasons I couldn't make this dress happen. But I really want to make it be something that is going to last. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer to see like where my size kind of lands before I dive into a woven dress. So with the loungewear plans that I had for this tie-dye sweatshirting, it's kind of the opposite. So when I changed size, I ended up, someone gave me a bunch of like leggings and loungewear that I've been wearing a whole ton. So I don't really feel like I need loungewear right now. And again, I don't want to make something that isn't going to fit me like in 6 months. Also, like spring is kind of around the corner. So yeah, making like something thick and cozy and heavy doesn't feel like, I feel like I would get, you know, a month and a half of wear out of it. And then in the fall, when it would be time to like wear it again, I have no idea what size I'm going to be. So yeah, I'm just like being a little bit cautious. And yes, it is a knit and it would be like elastic. So there is some give there. I just don't feel like it's what I need in my wardrobe. So I feel good about putting this plan like on the back burner. The only thing about it is this is like a really fat cut of fabric, because again, it was going to be for lounge bottoms, and so like full pants and a full sweater. So it's really thick. There's a lot of it, and I have to figure out where I'm going to put it until the fall, or until my size kind of stabilizes a bit. So that's everything that I made or mended or refashioned in February. I said in my February plans video that it has been a really long time since I had sewed anything. I think it was like November or even October. So it felt really good to kind of be back at the machine and like back kind of in the rhythm of making. And I'm really proud of myself that I really like turned my attention toward mending and refashioning, and that I'm kind of working that in to build that habit into my sewing practice. Because yeah, for a long time, I've had that value that I really want to invest in making my clothes last, but I've had a hard time with the actual like implementation of that value. So I'm really glad that I've kind of hopefully locked that in a bit more. If you watched my March plans, I have a couple refashions there. And then I have also like pulled out from my Doom box some other things that I want to look at like over the course of the spring and summer. So really going to prioritize that. Doesn't mean that I'm going to not make new things, because there's a million things on my list. Like I really want to dig into my stash and work on some new things there as well. So March, however, is looking pretty busy. So I'm not sure quite how much sewing time I'm going to have, but whatever I will be working on, I will take you along with me. So yeah, you can follow along. Now, I'm sorry I didn't have photos of everything that I made, but they will be like kind of trickling in at least over on my Instagram, so you can follow me over there. And I am really working on building up this YouTube channel, so it would mean a lot to me if you're not already subscribed to hit that button, and every like and comment also tells YouTube to show my stuff to other people. So again, I would really appreciate any extra love and engagement that you can give. So that's my little like YouTube spiel. I'll try to keep those like to a minimum, but there you go. That's it for this time. And yeah, I would love to know what you have been up to, what you've been making, if you are kind of wrapping up your winter sewing perhaps, or if you're like still chilly, or if you're on the other side, in the other hemisphere, if you're like getting into fall. Yeah, so I love seasonal sewing. I love to know like what you're up to, what you're making. So of course, let me know. And yeah, I think that's it for me. So until next time, happy making, happy sewing. Bye.